If we consider the habit of smoking, smoking in fact is an excellent metaphor for the entire working of the human mind, for human psychology altogether. Assuming you are a non-smoker, or if you are already a smoker, take yourself back to the time before you started. If nobody else was smoking, if smoking hadn't been invented, and I told you that I had a new product to sell you, it is extremely expensive. If it doesn't kill you, it will cut your health in half. It makes your breath and your clothes stink. It is extremely difficult habit to break, not to mention the money and health which could have been invested pursuing constructive activities, the opportunity cost of the habit. Would you like to buy my product? Well, anyone who wasn't totally insane would tell me where to go. There's not a single sane human who would pay me money for this product. So how come so many people every day buy cigarettes? Well, several reasons. The first, people started doing it because they were unaware of the long-term effects, and it was free. And after some people in the population have already taken up the free trial, not knowing the dangers and addictiveness, others will likewise try through curiosity. It seems very inexpensive and harmless in the beginning. Nobody starts off believing they are capable of being addicted, and if you don't imagine being addicted, then the cost of a single pack or borrowing from others is almost nothing, so why not give it a try? Smoking is the most basic and plain example of the working of the human mind, how we are controlled by sin. What is harmless in the beginning leads to full-blown death and pain in the end. Such is the nature of evil. The evil, or the sin, of smoking is in fact a spiritual reflection of its physical consequences, cancer. In the same way that cancer is slow and progressive on the body, sin and evil are slow and progressive on the mind and the soul. Both work together. This is why the Gospel posits such a strong connection between demonic possession and physical disease, because one is an expression of the other and vice versa. Desire leads to sin, and sin, when fully conceived, leads to death. This is what John writes. The evil takes over because, like a snake, it comes inconspicuously. Conspicuously, and step by step, so as not to threaten our false sense of being in control. But if you're not 100% following God's laws, you're out of control. One might try and argue here, just try this once, or only do this thing occasionally, not every day. But we mistakenly believe that we are the same people at the start of the addiction as we are just before it possesses us. We believe that our willpower is the same on day one as it is a year later. This is wrong. Sin is cumulative, although for a long time we are not aware. We see its effects in our life when it builds to a critical mass, and once that level is surpassed, we change almost overnight from being in control to out of control. Yes, the addiction did not take a single day, but the transition from control to out of control is instantaneous and without warning. This is why the only way to avoid the devil and not be enslaved by sin is to stop sinning before something happens. We either do this, or we wait until something tragically irreversible happens that we cannot change. God by this point has already exhausted his offer of forgiveness and mercy by that point, long exhausted it. It's foolish to think that God's offer of forgiveness is an open-ended offer. It has an expiry date. We must choose today, when everything still appears to be fun and harmless, to cut the sin, which we know in our conscience to be wrong, to cut it altogether, and without hesitation from our life, having faith in God's strength, and also having fear in the inevitable promise that desire leads to sin, and sin when fully conceived leads to death.